let's talk about quarterbacks and coaches. We talked about Trevor Lawrence, Caleb Williams, and Drake Maye in length on this particular podcast this season, and they all had new coaches this year. If anybody's paying attention, so from those three quarterbacks, who all are in playoff contention right now, I think they're all going to make the playoffs at this particular juncture.
They've all clinched, I think, right?
I think they all have. So
that is correct.
So with Liam Cohen matched up with Trevor Lawrence, with Ben Johnson matched up with Caleb Williams, and Mike Vrabel matched up with Drake Maye, what quarterback, from the panel's perspective, do you think benefited the most from the coaching change? Is that out of those three particular quarterbacks? Let's start with Violator. Who do you think benefited the most from these particular three from their coaching changes in 2025?
I'm gonna go with the low hanging fruit again because it's right here. I'm gonna say Drake Maye because of the system he's in and the stability that Coach Vrabel has brought in, and they're back to the old, from my eyes, the old Patriot.
You won't believe it.
No-name guys, and they're just kicking ass every Sunday. And look, now they're at the top of their division. So, and that's the kid that I was hoping we would have picked in that draft too, was Drake Maye. So, kudos to him in year 2, right?
Yeah,
year
2. Yep.
He's playing like his hair's on fire, man. He's a gunslinger. I just like that whole moxie that he brings to the game. So I'm rooting for him, man. So I'm gonna pick Drake Maye.
Okay, good stuff. All right, Alex, who you got in this particular conversation? Caleb, Drake, or Trevor?
Mine was Drake Maye too, man. Unfortunately, I kind of preparing for the show. I went and looked at the kind of year-to-year stack comparison of where these guys were at last year and this year. And I mean, Drake Maye is the one you see the leaps and bounds difference with, as well as, just the fact that he's been, in MVP talks all year. He went from, relatively unknown rookie on a dumpster fire team, to league MVP on the hottest team of the whole season. I don't know how you could say he's not the one most benefiting from it, because you got an experienced coach in there who's turned around a historically pretty bad franchise and made them almost a year in, year out contender, who then understood what type of coaches he needed to get around a young QB to continue to develop and play into his strengths. And we're seeing that come to fruition this year. Because I know he played 13 games last year, and he has, thrown almost 1,500 yards more than he did last year. He's 10 more touchdowns, turnovers are down, and like I said, he's playing much different football than he was last year.
Okay, fair enough. All right, RG, who you got in this conversation? Trevor, your guy, or Caleb and Drake?
Your boy.
Get out of here with that.
I know you.
But unfortunately, I think I am going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. And the only reason I'm going with him on that is because with these other QBs, Drake Maye and Caleb, they are still obviously very young. They're both in their second year. Trevor has obviously been in this league for a bit. Came in the year after Herbert in 2021, so he's got some more experience than these other QBs are. We kind of have seen what we thought he could be, and then now it looks like Liam Cohen has truly unlocked what Trevor Lawrence can be. He's provided him with one of the best run games in the NFL. He's put a sound defense around him, specifically against the run, which, as we mentioned earlier, once you get into the playoffs, you need to be able to run the ball and play defense. And if you're able to stop the run game, which is what the Jags do better than anyone else, that is insanely dangerous. And then to top it all off, like this streak that he's been on the last 4 or 5 weeks, it's just he looks like the number 1 overall pick, Trevor Lawrence, that everybody thought he was going to be. Everybody was preaching him as the next, the greatest prospect since Andrew Luck. Can't miss, and he had been very, very underwhelming up until this year. Obviously, had the massive playoff comeback against the Chargers. I've beat that dead horse enough. Again, I fully attribute that to Brandon Staley.
Beat that horse, baby.
Yeah. So I fully attribute that to Brandon Staley and his ineptitude and inability to do anything on a football field. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been balling, man. And if this run game is going to continue to do what it's been doing all this year, that just takes such a load off his shoulders. And we've seen against one of the best defenses in the NFL what he can do. So yeah, as begrudgingly as it sounds, and believe me, it is, I think I'm gonna have to go with Trevor on this one.
Okay. Again, I said this to you earlier. I gotta say it again. You gotta say it on my brain, man, because you took my take in verbatim. Because I'll add on to this real quick. It'll be my take, and I'm gonna pass it over to Dub. But Trevor was more under the microscope, in my opinion, than the other two were, because he's on his third coach, and he's being paid. The other two are rookies, and you can reset after their rookie deals if they didn't work out with your coaches. But Trevor, he's being paid. So he was more in the win now, I got to get it right now mode with Leon Cohen. They got it right early, because had they not, we were talking about this in the preseason, like if you don't have a good season this year, they could be thinking about moving on. So, I think that you're absolutely positive right now. I think he's the most beneficial, beneficiary in this particular conversation. But, that's just my opinion. What do you got, Dub? What do you feel like benefits the most out of these three?
I'm going to go with Caleb Williams. And this is something that I've said. I feel like I say this almost every show. But the Bears were going to be good if they could run the ball. Their identity is going to be running the ball. And Ben Johnson bringing that two-headed monster attack that he had in Detroit, bringing that over to Chicago, has been Caleb Williams' best friend. Just taking that pressure off of him, giving him the opportunity to kind of give him some boundaries, where it's not just a free-for-all, go out there and just, do your thing. Giving him some structure, giving him some boundaries, and not having him throw the ball 50 times in Chicago win. So Ben Johnson and that run game looks great in Chicago. I think that's giving Caleb Williams an opportunity to kind of relax and let the game come to him. And when he needs to, he still has the ability to be a little bit creative with it. He still has ability to make those big time throws that he needs to make when he needs to, but it's not completely on his shoulders like it was last year. Last year was just hard to watch, and you could see just from how they were building the structure of that team that it was going to be boom or bust, and obviously it ended up not booming. So the shift that they made this year with their approach to their offense and their approach to Caleb Williams, I think is going to support him in the long term. So I'll definitely say Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson.
I like it. Okay. All right, Calvin Jack, bring us home. Who you feel like benefits the most, Caleb, Trevor, or Drake Maye?
Well, obviously, the mic drop was for my guy that Dub hit, okay? And I'm going to tell you why it's Caleb Williams as well. Drake Maye got the benefit of Vrabel being a defensive coach. So what happened with Drake Maye? Well, he got an offensive coordinator as an offensive coordinator. That is a very, very positive aspect, and that's Josh McDaniels. Probably the only time I'll say anything positive about Josh McDaniels. But right. As an OC, that's where he flourishes. Josh McDaniels is an OC. Don't overstep that, Josh. Just know your lane, brother. Know your lane, okay? Vrabel takes the team. Josh does things on the offense. Drake Maye improves, okay? Now, with Sunshine, yeah, Liam Cohen has done a lot with Trevor Lawrence. With Trevor Lawrence, like you said, he's getting paid. He's getting paid. So it obviously he has the capabilities and the longevity. I mean, I hate saying longevity because he's like maybe 7-8 years in, if that. So he's already got the track record. He's not a rookie per se, where Caleb Williams and Drake Maye, they're on year 2. You expect that out of Trevor Lawrence. He needed a little bit of a change, but he has the pedigree already. Liam Cohen helped him out, but that's great. Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson in there, with the guy who and his running backs, okay, Swift and the Manunga, excuse me, which is a bad thing to have if you're a sailor.
You want to catch that?
Thank you. Yeah, but if you catch some Manunga, you definitely need to go see the doctor for a shot in the ass. Okay, I'm just saying that. So you have Manunga, and then you have Swift, and all that goes with it. You're not doing as much, but it's because of Johnson working with Caleb Williams, making that team a hell of a lot better offensively, because defensively they just needed a shot in the arm or as I said with Monungai, a shot in the ass. And then, you go from there. Caleb Williams has definitely benefited it. And there's an addendum to your mic drop there, Coach. But yeah, Caleb Williams.
I like it. Yeah, Caleb, makes me cringe a little bit with his, I guess you can say, short and medium accuracy. If you talk about Madden, you have short accuracy rating, your medium accuracy rating, your accuracy rating. He has a deep ball accuracy rating, but his short and intermediate accuracy a little iffy. In those intermediate and short throws in certain cases, what they call the layups throws, he kind of makes me cringe a little bit. But when it comes to big time throws and clutch throws, he's one of a kind. He's one of a kind.
And he's on pace to become their first 4,000-yard passer in a long time or ever. I don't know what is
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that right there is a feat within itself. So yeah, shout out to Caleb. Yeah. Shout out to Caleb.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would add to your Trevor Lawrence thing, look at how bad things are for Tampa Bay and their offense and Baker Mayfield with Liam Cohen leaving. You know what kind of impact he brings or leaves behind.
Yeah, it's funny because they were cooking pretty good early in the season, but they've fallen off the cliff. That's interesting in its own right. That's something maybe we need to talk about later down the line. But yeah, definitely something to be had because again, their offense doesn't look the same. We knew it was going to be different, but for the first 5 or 6 weeks, I know personally because I have a Mecca Ibuka in fantasy. So I definitely know that he can.
Yeah, the ugly rear, rear.
I do want to point out, though, it's funny that Cap complained about his gambling,
right?
But nobody bats an eye. But we talk about fantasy points.
It's triggering. It's triggering.
Yeah, triggering. Yeah.
That's the trigger word for Cap. It's the trigger word.
My fantasy team is the Raiders. Always has been and always will be. I'll just leave it at that.
That's funny.
I'll say this to just drive home the Trevor Lawrence point even more. He's already at 33 total touchdowns this year. He's got 7 rushing and 26 passing. He's already broken his most touchdowns combined in a season by 3, and we still got 2 weeks left to play. So, just like we say that Liam Cohen really brought this run game and this run defense there, Trevor Lawrence is having his probably best season of his career. So, I mean, there's just not enough you can say about, the improvement he's had this year.
Can we say blanket statement that quarterbacks that are, kind of trending or learning or trying to develop into their prime need a good run game?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
What?
And an offensive line. And an offensive line.
That part, Cap, definitely, yes, indeed. But yes, I think that is paramount to the success of young quarterbacks. Have a good run game. If you're listening out there, aspiring NFL coaches, a little bit of a tidbit. Indeed.
O-line, baby, O-line.
Indeed. All right, so okay.
And Alex was an offensive lineman too. Take a bow, brother. Take a bow.
Former center. Yes, indeed. All right.